twist the knife. I'll tell you kind of where I learned this thing. So I remember having this job, and I was sitting there at work, and this guy comes up to me, and he starts talking to me about, I don't even remember what he was talking to me about, but he starts talking to me about it and trying to get my opinion on the subject or something. And so I kind of provided some opinion, and then he started picking at it and asking me all these questions. The next thing I know, I'm sitting there defending something that I could care less about. And I was like, how in the world did I just get sucked into something that I could care less about? But the problem is as soon as you start down that path, there's all these social triggers that come into play. And so, since I had already committed and I started talking about it, I became consistent. I didn't want to look like an idiot by saying, dude, I don't even agree with any of this stuff. Why are we having this conversation? I'm done. And walk off. Because somehow he already got me so committed that it was just seemed dumb to back out. And so I call this twisting the knife. It's how to pick at somebody's interest and get them to sell themselves. And in this particular case, what I'm identifying is we were talking to somebody who wasn't particularly interested in solar. They just weren't. So then the thing is they're like, or on this technique is, I think it's better to use this example. So somebody wasn't particularly interested in solar, but what they did say is that they were interested in batteries. Well, as soon as they said that, then what it did is identified a hot interest that individual had. And I refer that to the knife. Boom, there's your hot knife. And then I want to start twisting it in their bones and getting their attention, getting them to wiggle and start committing to it. And so then you can come on this side and you say, hey, so why is that important to you? I mean, why do you want batteries? What's got your interest? What happened? What's your backstory? And I can start asking these questions. They're like, well, I want batteries because I saw what happened in Texas. The power went out for 2 weeks. And I don't want to have that experience. Oh my gosh. What would happen if you had your power out for 2 weeks? Oh, it would be miserable. And you're like, yeah, it would, right? And then you start picking at it. It's like, wouldn't your life be better if you could figure out how to solve that problem? And after they've committed and they've gone down this story, it's going to be very hard for them to come back and say, no, I was just making that up, I don't care. And since I've got them so committed, what would happen if it doesn't get solved? Twist the knife, and they very well may buy solar just because they want a battery. And that set the stage for the conversation. So we go knock on a door and somebody's like, nah, I'm fine. Like, yeah, I'm not interested in solar. It's like, okay, cool. You're a dentist, huh? Oh yeah, you're making $1 million a year? Oh snap, I'll bet you're getting hurt on them taxes, right? Oh yeah, I'm bleeding out. Oh snap. Whew. Like, what's gonna happen if you don't find some tax breaks? Oh, I'll have to give the government $300,000. Ooh, that sounds like a lot. Do you want to do that? No, I don't want to do that. Like, you realize solar has these like tax credits, right? No, I didn't. Yeah, so you'd probably get 50 grand back or whatever it is. I would? Yeah. Twist the knife. Like, would that be better? You start twisting the knife. Yeah. Why don't we sit down and have a conversation on that? Doesn't matter. Pick whatever it is. I'm sure you guys could think of examples where, like when I joke or I say it, like when I go out and we're selling solar, I really don't know that I'm selling solar. I'm identifying the hot topic, and then the solar usually comes along with whatever they want to buy. It's strange because the end product is a solar or solar batteries, but what got them there was different.
How do you find those hot topics? Like, just questions?
Yeah, yes, it was an older gentleman that we were talking to. When we were talking to him, he was like, I'm older. He's like, somehow he didn't think because he's getting older, somehow he wasn't really convinced that the solar would do him a whole lot of good. And I'm like, oh, okay. I mean, I'll tell you what's got people interested in is it's not so much about savings anymore. It's about security. So as soon as I said it's about security, I'm like, what I'm discovering is people are trying to figure out what's going on in the world, and they're trying to figure out how to protect themselves. And as soon as I said that, he goes, it would be the battery that's of more interest to me. So he volunteered it. Mm-hmm. What I did is I threw some hooks out there.
That'd be nice to have a list of
ones to watch for, because it's like you throw the hooks out there and you're doing the conversation, but you have to be aware and listening for if they volunteer something, that's a good chance it's something they're passionate or interested in, right?
Yeah. Stories that find hot topics. So stories I use. Somehow I tell a story about security. I figure out how to tell a story about taxes. Figure out how to tell a story about savings. In fact, we had Britt and I knocked on the door of a guy the other day's house, and I was trying to give him multiple chances to see if we couldn't just hook him and get him interested. And so what I like about having my iPad or whatever is my pitch is organized on my iPad and it's also organized on my phone. And so I just came over here and I jumped into my solar slides and I would tell like the story. I'm like, see, we had this huge rate increase. Let me explain what it is. And then I tell them what it, actually I started showing them, yeah, they're losing all this money. I'm like, so that's just going to drive rates up. And made him pause. I'm like, because I provided him evidence. That was a story. And he still didn't bite. So then I started telling him about how we lost our nuclear power plant story to see if he would bite on that. I showed him that slide. He didn't quite bite yet. So then I came in here and I showed him the details of the coal-fired plants getting shut down. As I was doing this, he actually started sliding in buying questions. Buying questions literally started showing up as I did that. Then I came in here and I believe I showed him this. I'm like, here's what the United States looks like. 2/3 of the United States doesn't have enough power on the grid now. And all of them really were fishing expeditions to identify a hot topic. Because then as soon as I identify the hot topic, pull out the knife, start twisting it, and then start trying to peel back the onion. Why is this important? Like, how would this help you? What would happen if you didn't fix this? That would be the framework.